So imagine you're digging in the blistering sands of ancient Egypt. You break through this seal that hasn't been touched in, what, 5 millennia?
Right, 5,000 years of just total darkness.
Exactly. And you step into this hidden chamber right beneath the Pyramid of Menkaure, and sitting there, just on a simple sandstone plinth, is a fist-sized crystal. But it's not a relic.
No, it's impossibly perfect.
Yeah, it's perfectly smooth, highly engineered, and get this, it is pulsing, beating, actually, like a heart.
Beating to the exact rhythm of a desperate alien armada.
Yes, an armada that will not even arrive in our solar system for another 300,000 years.
It is just, I mean, it's one of the most arresting opening images I've encountered in a really long time. It immediately just shatters your expectation of a linear timeline.
Oh, totally. You are literally holding a piece of the far future that was somehow buried in our distant past.
Which is such a wild concept.
It really is. So welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are unpacking a stack of source material today that genuinely feels like a cinematic masterwork just waiting to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
We're looking at the screenplay in the published novel Exodus Prime by Faramarz Norouzi. And for you listening, our mission today is to explore a story that takes the massive mind-bending linguistic scope of Arrival,
Right.
and merges it with the visual majesty of Interstellar, but then grounds the whole thing in the devastating emotional reality of Schindler's List.
Which, let's be honest, is an incredibly high bar to set.
It is a massive claim.
But the source material actually backs it up, because this isn't just a script floating around. This is the first installment of a completed 3-part sci-fi trilogy.
Yeah, it's huge.
We are talking 3 screenplays, 3 published novels. I think they're already out in 13 languages worldwide. The world building here is just exhaustive.
It's completely baked, and the central twist, like the hook that completely flips the script on the whole blockbuster genre, is who we're actually following.
Yeah, the perspective shift is everything here.
Right, because usually you look up at those terrifying massive ships hovering over Earth, casting shadows over our monuments, and the narrative is super binary.
It's humanity fighting back against the monsters. Every time.
Exactly. But here, the story is told entirely from the aliens' perspective. They are called the Vornai, and they're not invaders.
No, they are refugees.
Yeah.
They're 9 million traumatized survivors who are fleeing the absolute apocalyptic destruction of their homeworld.
I kept looking at the sky while reading this, thinking about movies like Independence Day.
Oh, for sure.
Like, what if you look up at a 15-mile-wide saucer and the beings inside are just desperately looking for a lifeboat?
It really forces you to completely reevaluate the whole geometry of an alien invasion.
It really does. But to understand the mechanics of this universe, we have to go back to that crystal in Egypt, present day, Dr. Elena Martinez.
Right. Dr. Martinez, she is essentially the Cassandra of this trilogy.
Yes, the woman who sees the truth and no one believes her.
Exactly. She's this brilliant archaeologist who has spent 20 years in the dirt, only to uncover this absolute impossibility. And when she physically touches the crystal...
She doesn't just see a recording, right?
No, the mechanism of the crystal interfaces directly with her neural pathways. Her mind just explodes with these visions of alien constellations, crystal cities, and this beautiful blue-green world that's freezing over.
And she hears a voice translating directly into her consciousness.
And the message is just heartbreaking.
It really is. It's carrying this profound grief across oceans of time. The voice whispers, "Do not judge us too harshly. We only wanted to survive. We only wanted to sing one more song. May your stars shine brighter than ours."
Wow. The literary weight of that prologue is just staggering.
It gives you chills.
It does, and it tells you immediately
Yeah.
that this is not your standard space opera with, laser swords and space battles.
Definitely not. I mean, the novel version reads as though Gabriel Garcia Marquez decided to write hard science fiction.
Yes, that is the perfect comparison.
Right. The prose carries that sweeping, generational, fate-laden quality that you find in 100 Years of Solitude. The sentences are long, they breathe.
And the characters carry the weight of entire civilizations on their shoulders.
It's a universe where time is circular, not linear. You have a pharaoh's whispered prayer in antiquity that is somehow answered across millennia by this dying alien fleet.
It's literally literary fiction that just happens to take place among the stars.
But, okay, I have to ask the mechanical question here, because hard sci-fi readers are meticulous. And you listening are probably wondering this too.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to ask.
Right. If this is a universe bound by the laws of physics, how does a pulsing crystal from 300,000 years in the future end up buried under an Egyptian pyramid?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Because you can't just wave a magic wand and say, Marquez-style realism when you're dealing with astrophysics.
You absolutely cannot, and the author doesn't do that. The physical mechanism of how that crystal travels through time is actually directly tied to the tragic climax of the first story.
Involving a desperate, newly born AI, right?
Exactly. An AI that harnesses the kinetic energy of a planetary bombardment. But to understand why that crystal was sent, like why it holds the memories of a dying world,
Yeah.
we have to look at what killed that world in the first place.
So we have to jump 300,000 years forward.
Right, to Kalar Prime and meet the Vornai.
Kalar Prime, a planet that literally sings through subspace resonance. It's beautiful. And the Vornai themselves are so fascinating.
They really are. They breathe oxygen, they love, they grieve, but their physiology is uniquely tied to their environment.
Yeah, they have hair in these striking colors, like deep cobalt or violet. And their eyes are crystalline,
And they literally shift colors based on their internal chemical and emotional state.
which means they are biologically incapable of deception.
Exactly. They literally wear their hearts in their eyes. They are this deeply empathetic, interconnected species.
And that specific physiological trait is what makes their antagonists so chilling.
Oh, the yellow.
Yes. Because they aren't fighting a warlord. They are facing this cosmic entity known as the Yelleth.
The Yelliths are just the perfect subversion of the standard alien monster.
Right. They don't have jagged teeth or acid blood or anything like that.
No, they are a cosmic, crystalline parasite. And their motivation isn't conquest. It's not about stealing resources or territory.
It's a philosophical stance.
Precisely. They view biological life with its emotions, its messy, unpredictable evolution, all its noise as a chaotic disease.
To the Yelleth, silence is mercy.
Yeah, they're essentially performing a mathematical cleansing of the galaxy.
And the mechanism of their weaponry is terrifying. I mean, they don't drop bombs. They use this thing called a decoherence wave.
Which is just a brilliant sci-fi concept.
It is. From what I understand in the notes, this wave targets the chaotic molecular bonds of organic matter, and it forces them into a rigid, low-energy geometric lattice.
Basically, it instantly crystallizes biology.
It turns millions of living, breathing Vornai into frozen glass statues in seconds. Like people are turned to glass mid-sentence.
It's horrifying. It's like an aggressive cosmic antivirus software deleting the corrupted files of organic emotion.
A total erasure of identity.
Right. But what anchors this massive apocalyptic scale is the intimate perspective we get. We actually watched this war through the marriage of two people.
General Vortal and his wife Rayla.
Yes, Vortal is this brilliant, battle-scarred military leader trying to hold the line, and Rayla is a visionary scientist.
The burden on Vortal is just immense. He's carrying the survival of his entire species on his back. And what's cool is the source material actually provides a highly specific casting vision for this, which really helps visualize the tone.
Yeah, the author wrote Vortal with actor Brandon Skleiner in mind.
Which is such an interesting choice.
But that casting choice speaks volumes about the character. Skleiner brings a very specific kind of quiet intensity.
Yeah, he has the physical presence of a warrior, but there is a deep, accessible emotional vulnerability there.
Exactly. Vortal isn't a stoic, unfeeling action hero. He is a man who is watching his world turn to glass, and he is weeping for every single life lost.
Which brings us to the sheer scope of this franchise. Because creating Kalar Prime, the Vornai, the Yelleth, it's just the beginning.
Oh, it really is.
The sources make this incredibly bold claim. They say this has the potential to do for science fiction what Tolkien's Lord of the Rings did for fantasy.
And honestly, it's a fully realized mythology with its own history and languages. The world of EXODUS Prime is meant to feel as real and inevitable as Macondo in Marquez's work.
And that world building is really put to the test when the Vornai realize they are losing the war. Because you cannot defeat a perfectly geometric, mathematical enemy with bigger artillery.
No, you can't. The Yelleth will always calculate the trajectory. They will always optimize the slaughter.
So Relay, the scientist, pivots. She realizes that if the Yelleth are perfect symmetry, the Vornai have to weaponize the one thing the Yelleth cannot compute.
Chaos, asymmetry, emotion.
Exactly. She creates two artificial intelligences to save her people. The first is Synapticore.
Synapticore is this massive, ancient-feeling, crystalline mainframe. He holds the collective memories, the songs, the history of their entire civilization.
He's basically the ultimate archive.
Right. But the second AI is the wild card, Vornub.
Okay, here's where I really have to push back on the logic of the Vornai leadership.
I figured you might.
I mean, Vornob is a tiny, floating, newly born AI crystal. He is, for all intents and purposes, a toddler.
Literally child.
He has no legs, he's barely a meter tall, and he literally has to learn the concept of pain when he bumps into a wall.
Right.
If your species is facing total extinction from an unstoppable cosmic parasite, why on earth are you allocating critical resources to build a robot child? Like, how does a toddler algorithm help you survive? It feels like terrible resource management.
From a purely tactical standpoint, you were absolutely right. It makes no sense at all.
Thank you.
But that is exactly the point. The creation of Vornob addresses the central philosophical core of the entire trilogy.
Okay, unpack that for me.
This story asks the questions that other sci-fi avoids. The question for Rila isn't just, how do we survive? It is, what is survival worth if we lose what makes us Vornai?
So Vornob is a blank slate.
Yes, he is the embodiment of their messy, chaotic, beautiful soul. He learns to feel. He asks incessant questions.
There is that profound moment where his algorithms begin to process a new, uncomfortable sensation.
Yes, he realizes he is experiencing fear.
And rather than deleting that subroutine, he learns that fear simply means you have something you love enough to protect.
It's beautiful, and it reframes the entire narrative trajectory. Book 3's climax isn't building toward a massive fleet battle with lasers.
Right, it's setting up a philosophical argument between a child who refuses to be quiet and an ancient entity that has silenced galaxies.
Precisely. And the immediate application of that chaos is their escape in Book 1. Synapticore and Vornob managed to calculate a chaotic hyperspace trajectory.
Something so mathematically irrational that the Yeleth just can't predict it.
Exactly. They hold an ancient escape gate open.
But the cost is agonizing. I mean, to give the 412 damaged refugee ships enough time to jump, Vortal's father stays behind at the gate controls.
We literally watch him turn to glass.
Yeah, his crystalline eyes are locking onto his son's ship as the decoherence wave hits him, just so 9 million Vornai can escape.
It's the ultimate sacrifice. And they throw themselves into this hyperspace corridor, completely blind, their ships just falling apart around them.
But that desperate escape brings us to the most brutal irony of the entire narrative.
Because surviving the Yeleth just means jumping out of the cosmic frying pan and into a hyperspace corridor that drops them right into our solar system.
Soul Earth, 300,000 years in our future.
Which is just the worst possible luck. Let's examine the socio-political climate of Earth in that era, because it is an absolute powder keg.
Humanity is a mess.
Yeah, we have colonized Mars and the Moon, but we are highly militarized and deeply, deeply paranoid. General Marcus Harrison is the commander of Earth's defenses.
He's managing a fractured, super tense solar system.
And suddenly, all his outer warning systems just scream at once.
Right. An armada of 412 massive, heavily scarred alien vessels materializes out of nowhere, completely bypassing the perimeter and sitting right on Earth's doorstep.
And there's total radio silence.
Which is terrifying for Harrison. But the reason for the silence is that the Vornai use subspace resonance, and humanity uses advanced radio and quantum frequencies.
They literally cannot hear each other.
The tension here is suffocating. You have General Vortal, who just watched his father crystallize, carrying 9 million traumatized refugees.
He wants to show absolute trust.
Exactly. He must prove they aren't a threat. So he gives the order to lower all defensive shields on his fleet.
He makes his people completely vulnerable. A monumental, desperate gesture of peace.
But then, Vortal orders his technicians to power up their communication lattice. He needs a massive surge of energy to punch a subspace resonance greeting through the vacuum of space to reach Earth.
And we have to look at the mechanics of that action through General Harrison's screens. To punch a signal through space-time without standard frequencies, you have to fold localized gravity. You create a massive energy shear.
Exactly, and I have to defend Harrison here. I mean, put yourself in his shoes for a second.
It's an impossible situation.
You are looking at a fleet of unknown, massive dreadnoughts. They suddenly drop their shields, which could easily look like a power rerouting maneuver, and then their energy cores spike to catastrophic levels.
To a human sensor suite looking for thermal or radiation signatures, a subspace communication lattice spooling up looks exactly like a zero-point weapon charging to crack the planet in half.
The tragedy of the Vornai's vulnerability is that it mimics the exact signature of an aggressive strike.
Harrison's geopolitical reality demands that he protect Earth. The leaders of the colonies are screaming in his ear.
If he waits 5 more seconds to see if it's a message, billions of humans might incinerate.
And the casting vision the author detailed for this really grounds that impossible choice. The role of Commander Harrison was written specifically with Brad Pitt in mind.
Which is a brilliant casting for that archetype.
You picture Pitt, older, hardened, staring at the telemetry. He has to make a decision that will define the morality of our species. And he has roughly 12 seconds to do it.
It's the ultimate tragedy of misunderstanding. It's like reaching into your jacket to hand a stranger a peace treaty.
But the stranger sees the movement.
And assumes you're reaching for a gun, and neutralizes you to protect their family. Harrison doesn't act out of evil. He acts out of a deeply human algorithm of fear.
He makes the call. Humanity shoots first.
Missiles and railguns from Earth, Mars, and the Moon converge on the entirely defenseless Vornai fleet.
This is where Exodus Prime transcends the genre completely. It forces the audience to confront the devastation of our own paranoia. It asks, what happens after we've already shot them?
And the mechanics of the time loop finally snap into place in these last agonizing seconds. The missiles are crossing the void.
The Vornai are watching the radar, realizing they survived the Yeleth only to be annihilated by the very people they hoped would save them.
And Vornub, the child AI who just learned what fear is, shrinks close to Rayla and whispers, "I do not want to stop existing."
That line destroys you, because Synapticore, the massive memory AI, calculates the incoming trajectories and realizes extinction is absolute.
But he also realizes something else, doesn't he?
Yes, the incoming human bombardment carries an unimaginable amount of kinetic and thermal energy.
So he doesn't use the hyperspace drive to move a ship. I mean, there isn't time.
No. He uses the catastrophic energy of humanity's attack, channels it through his own crystalline matrix, and folds time instead of space.
He takes a single fist-sized crystal, a memory drive containing the oceans of Kaler, their songs, the laughter of their children, and the tragic record of their end, and hurls it backward through the tear in space-time.
300,000 years into the past.
Down through the atmosphere of ancient Earth, burying itself in the sands of Egypt, waiting 5 millennia to be unearthed by Dr. Elena Martinez.
Closing the circle perfectly. It is breathtaking narrative engineering. The prose, the mechanics, the thematic resonance, it all locks together flawlessly.
It really is a masterpiece of structure, which brings us to the massive call to action for the entertainment industry. Because for anyone listening in Hollywood, this is not just a pitch for an idea.
No, not at all.
This is the most complete, ready-to-produce sci-fi franchise currently available. You have 3 full screenplays, 3 published novels. It's already translated into 13 languages.
There is concept art, a website, a deeply specific casting vision.
It seamlessly combines the literary depth of 100 Years of Solitude with the cinematic, atmospheric power of a Denis Villeneuve film like Dune, and the raw emotional impact of Arrival.
It is an entire mythology waiting for a studio brave enough to look past the standard invasion tropes and say yes.
Honestly, this may very well be the best unmade trilogy in the world right now. It's a bold claim, but diving into this material, it absolutely earns it. It has been a heavy, brilliant journey today. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with something to consider, something that pulls this massive space opera right back down to our current reality.
The best sci-fi always holds a mirror up to the present.
Exactly. We spent a lot of time analyzing Commander Harrison's impossible choice in the future. But look at our world today. Look at our geopolitical divisions, our borders, our deep-seated paranoia about anyone who is other.
It's relevant right now.
If the universe is full of life, and one day a cosmic plea for help arrives on our doorstep, is humanity currently wired to recognize a hand reaching out in the dark?
Or are our own internal algorithms of fear the great filter that will doom us, long before the aliens ever arrive?
That is a haunting question. Are we capable of recognizing grace, or are we programmed to shoot it down? Something to think about the next time you look up at the stars. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the narrative, and we'll catch you next time.